We are live from digital address GA09925539 in Kokomemli, Accra, on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Good morning, everyone. The show is Joy News Interactive, and our social media handle for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is Joy News on TV. I am Selina Ambo. Welcome to the discourse. Now, the new academic calendar in September would start with not only new books, but with the new curriculum. The Director General of the Ghana Education Service has announced reforms to the current educational system, including replacing the existing primary school curriculum and introducing new uniforms for junior high school students. These reforms are to make education more responsive to the human resource and development needs of Ghana. On social media, many users are having mixed reactions to the latest developments in the education sector. But before we take social media reactions, let's speak to Sefam Lord Mensah, who is an educationist, to tell us what he thinks about these reforms. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hello, Sefa. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
I'm amazing. What do you make of these reforms, that the reforms the Ghana Education Service is making?
Okay. So first of all, we need to understand where the reform is coming from. I stand with the view that it needs to be reformed because, like you said, every 5 years you need to review the curriculum.
Yeah.
For the basic person or the layman, what is the curriculum? The curriculum serves as a vehicle for what? Transformation. So if you want a change in the society, you don't change things out of the vacuum. You change the curriculum. So you input everything you want to change into the curriculum. So the reflection of how we teach our students in our various schools from the basic level is to be considered. Because education at the basic level serves as a what? The foundation for further studies. So if the foundation is not right, or the input or the implement of the foundation is faulted, then everything else will have issues. We will have issues in transition from the basic to the secondary to the tertiary. So yes, the reform is needed. But for me, when you look at the 2002 educational reform, the committee work, that white paper.
All right.
Everything that, I think a point in time, there was something about teaching the children as locally would acquire dialects for them to get the skills. We tried and it did not work. But when you go into that document and you study it very well, I think if we are able to implement the content of that document, it will help us a lot. Reformation is needed, but how do we reform? What are the things that we are adding to it? If you reform and the resources are not there to assist us to implement, then I'm sorry, why are we reforming?
Okay. But there's a bit about exams being written at the primary 2, 4, and 6. It seems not to go down well with some citizens. Are they right in this? What do you think about it?
So going back again onto the same document I mentioned, the 2002 educational reform, the committee's paper. The reason why the then President Kufuor called for the reformation was that it was being assessed or analyzed that our educational system is more bookish. So now, if it's more bookish, how do we teach? Okay. Or what are we supposed to do about the curriculum or the implementation that?
Do you in any way think that these examinations at these levels would hurt the educational system?
I don't see why at class 2, 4, and especially class 2 and 4, for them to be nationally assessed. I listened to the professor yesterday on news saying that, I think somebody was interviewed and it was like, no, the assessment was not to pass them to the next stage, but to find out their weakness and then be able to input or do something right or correct the weakness in the system. But then my worry is if you talk about national assessments, at the back of the minds of the children and the parents, this panic, then it becomes bookish in nature again. And that is what we are afraid of happening. The fact that you've titled it national assessment, the fact that the word assessment comes through, what kind of assessment are we talking about? We could have assessments in so many forms.
All right.
But if it's going to be written for them to sit and then you do that, then it's going to be bookish because they are going to learn just to make sure that, okay, if I'm supposed to recite the alphabet at class 2, I'm able to recite the alphabet. If I'm supposed to do some calculations and numeracy at class 2, I'm able to do that. But
so what you are driving what you are driving at is that it's going to end up becoming a chew and pour system. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, at that age. Because the foundation, if the foundation is not right and is more bookish, then the children are going to struggle from that level. And that is what they know and that is what they are used to. Because I have to pass. I have to prove that I am not daft after all. So if you give me a series of questions.
Okay.
And now there's something else that I also need to address here. For example, some of the schools, they've noticed that the students are smart. So if they are in grade 2 or class 2, they tend to learn grade 3 or class 3 items.
Okay. Okay. So how's that going to affect the students in any way? If they are learning they are in grade 2 and they are learning grade 3 items, I think it's a plus. Don't you think so?
No, there are certain things we value or we measure in education. And so if you are measuring the competency base of the child, the psychological aspect, that is the brain work, yes, the child has gotten it all right. What about the psychomotor and then the affective domain, that where the values are coming from, the virtues. So if the child is passing through the cycle and then the affective domain and the psychomotor are not in line with that stage and you are pushing the child to go into the knowledge base, then the other parts are dropping.
Oh, right. But some people also say we should rather focus on implementing the 2007 curriculum instead of introducing a new one. What do you say to that?
I think I agree. But you can go back and reform the 2007 curriculum by changing or modifying certain things. But coming up with a new curriculum altogether, maybe we are jumping the gun. Maybe it's early days. So let's see. But the fact that we are going to have a national assessment for grade 2, 4, and 6, that is where, and the implementation, if the TLMs are not there, it doesn't matter how suitable the curriculum is. If you're not able to implement it, you will still go back to square zero.
Okay. Generally, does this new mean a revived system?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
I'm asking, does this new era of reforms, changes being made, does it mean the system is being revived?
Honestly, I have not gone through this particular curriculum fully. I haven't gone through it yet. So I wouldn't jump the gun. I wouldn't make a conclusive statement on it yet until I'm able to do that. But yesterday, I called somebody at the ministries and I was asking if I have issues with the curriculum, who do I contact? Am I able to speak to somebody? And the person was advising me as to how to go about it. I am passionate about this because in 2014-15, I did a studies in Adenta, and I tackled the citizenship education curriculum or syllabus. And my idea was to find out how it was being implemented. And mind you, at the basic level, because of the sensitivity and the peculiar nature of their needs, teaching at the basic level needs to be interactive, practical in nature. But here is the case, you enter a classroom of 70, 80 students to a teacher. How do you practicalize this teaching? So you see, if the structures or the implementation levels are not properly taken care of, you will still come back to the same square. You will teach, and book, yet it's not reflecting in the life of our children.
Thank you.
There's nothing when it comes to their affective domain and the psychomotor domain. It's only about the affective domain and the psychomotor. It's only about the psychological, what do you call it? The cognitive domain. That is the word. Cognitive.
Thank you very much, Sefam Lord, mentor and educationist. Thank you for that enlightenment. Still on the changes in the education sector, GES has said it's ready to change the current popular brown and amber khaki school uniform to junior high school students to the next academic year. This is for junior high school students. Let's take a look at those uniforms. Yes, that's the image of the amber and khaki, yeah, and khaki colored to this new one. So we're expecting junior high school students to be wearing this in the next academic year. That means no more Milo and Tea or Kokonte and Abenkwine and Katinkwine, as it's popularly known as. But yesterday, we put a poll on Facebook. But before we take a look at that poll, let's read the comments. Yes, and we have Alonso, who says misplaced priority big time, and it's not even free, even though it's a misplaced priority, but it should be free for all Ghanaians. And Tools says this government is yet to know the price of cement and blocks, but chose to be taking us back to colonial times. Is this how PhD holders behave? I'll make sure my child will not be a part of this. Haba. And Don KB says, great decision. Great decision. We need reforms, and that's exactly the president. That's exactly what the president is doing. Kokonte no ache dodo. And Believe says, I can say for a fact that MPP is a party poised at destroying our education sector. The evil at the heart of our education in Ghana is NPP. Useless and stupid reforms starting from 2017. And Ibrahim Isa says, this is another way of chopping money. Ghana. And Asamoah Perez says, good decision. At least we've moved away from the colonial attire. Let's have proper structures with respect to increase teacher salaries and motivation. And Bata says, while schools outside are making progress in technology and doing exploits, our father is changing our uniform for us to sit in the sun and steady on stones. God, my country needs your direction. And this is a comment from Asamoah Kweku, who says the reason for the new uniform to psychologically let the people see themselves as senior high school students. The useless ever reforms implemented in Ghana, government and GS better sit up. Parents must organize a demo we won't buy. Now, Cyphers, let's take a look at the poll, what people are saying. Do you think this is a misplaced priority, or do you think this is a great thing, a great idea? Let's take a look at it. And we have 9.2 thousand people who have already voted. 72% say it is a misplaced priority, and 28% are voting for a great decision. Well, the polls are still open. You can go on to my Joy News on TV and vote. Now, let's do something about women. A woman's involvement and growth in the corporate world has always been a buzz-creating topic. Every year, the corporate world changes, and we see women ascending the ladder of success. However, there are other factors that draw some women back, be it negative comments from your colleagues, harassment in the office, or lack of support from your fellow women. At the Glitz Women CEO Breakfast, Anita Eskin touched on how she had to bully her way through the corporate world to make it to the top.
I remember when about 10 years ago I got pregnant with my daughter, and in this industry you are what you look like, you know, where you stand. Hopefully if you're not married you are more marketable. I say that with all due respect. And I remember my male colleagues in the industry saying, hey, Charlie, off the market, Charlie, you are finished though. Literally. And, you know, I had a huge belly. I was still doing my TV shows. But even more shocking than the men openly saying, oh, this one day you finished, be that. Were the women saying, how could you make that decision at the beginning of your career? the women asking me, how could you allow yourself to get married just as you're becoming a hot one? How could you allow yourself to become so big because you know that what sells you in this industry is how you look? So essentially, my question is, how many of our leading women are encouraging our young women to make decisions based on a well thought through personal decision? If you, young lady, you want to get married and have children, what is your female mentor encouraging you to do? I am blessed to consistently be surrounded by women who tell me the truth. I always haven't been that blessed because when I started in my career, no leading woman wanted to show me the ropes. So I had to learn the hard way. And in many instances, I had to act like a tomboy so that the boys and whatever it is wouldn't bully me.
That was Anita Eskin. She is a broadcast journalist, an MC, and a role model to young women out there. That video is on our Facebook page. You can go on there and write a comment. Just leave something interesting for us to read. Now it's time for us to take a short breather, and when we are back, we have most watched videos of the week. Welcome back from that short break. You're still watching JoyNews Interactive. It's time for us to talk about our most watched videos of the week. Number one on our list is a video of a 35-year-old Nigerian, Rebecca Ojo Odonsi, who's sentenced to 6 years in prison for slashing her daughter's hand with a kitchen knife and a pair of scissors. That video had 95,000 views, 784 reactions, 456 comments, 592 shares.
Took her out of it.
The trouble might.
At the number two spot is a video which has 60,000 views, 1.3 thousand reactions, 577 comments, 1,296 shares. It is a video of an angry Ghanaian questioning Bisu's presence at the UK Town Hall meeting.
So to Mr. Attorney General or Deputy Attorney General, you made mention about various corruption issues that are being prosecuted. We are aware that recently Anas Armiyaw Anas came out with a documentary involving one gentleman here taking cash gifts when he was entrusted to work towards elimination of Galamsey. Now I want you to tell me what specific measures have been done about that gentleman too, Mr. Bisu. And he's here sitting with us.
Yes, please.
Is he here with our tax money, with you as government delegation?
Thank you.
Or he came on his own?
Thank you.
And secondly,
just one question, sir. It's one question, sir.
To eliminate the quality of gift taking among government appointees.
Thank you.
Well, that's it right there. And our third most watched video of the week is a video of One Love Kubolo. He tells us that he and Mensa own Nana Apia Mensa 1,700 Ghana cedi. That video had 23,000 views, 68 comments, 57 shares, and 341 reactions. Let's take a look at it.
2019 is crazy because this is the first time like we owe money, and so we are really like, it's forcing us to move extra hard and to just conquer the world. So we're out there, we're going back very soon to continue our tour, and by the end of the year there'll be a lot of good news. I mean, a lot of festivals are already calling us now. So.
And I'm sure that you play festival, you get more money, right?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the festival. Pay back our debts.
And pay your school fee, your kids' school fees and all that.
And we also owe Nana Apia, #1, we owe him some money as well. So
why? What happened?
While people were giving their money to Men's Gold, we were borrowing money from them.
Okay, so
we
you're
owe him
supposed to...
so that he can pay the people back.
How much is that? You can't tell.
About 700 cedis.
Okay.
Yeah. 7 million, old money.
Old money.
Maybe you can pay for us.
Have you paid for the food?
Oh, the food, yeah, don't worry. The guy is my guy, so...
Really?
Yeah, don't worry. Charlie.
Well, I've taken the water. You are done with the water.
Yeah, I'm done. Charlie, Beoli, next time I'll pay.
Oh, Charlie, nah. Bien katakumi na. I feel na kai.
Charlie, Charlie,
That's One Love Kubolo there doing his thing. And now it's time for us to do the video of the day. And my big age, I cannot compete with her, can you? This video is dubbed Friday Feeling. That's the Friday feeling entering her voice. It's time for us to wrap up on today's show. You'll be watching Joy News Interactive with me, Selinam Ampo. Goodbye.